do not start if you're not ready to hustle. And I have to caveat that by saying, with how I've written it, hustle is in inverted commas. Because
I was gonna say, like, what do you mean by that? Like, I was gonna say, bro. Like,
because I don't mean finesse. Like, I don't mean sheg.
Yeah.
That's far from what I mean. I mean hustle in the grinding sense of the word. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, when in basketball, Rash, you're a basketball man, when they say certain players like have, for example, I don't know if I'm correct in saying this because I'm not really a basketball person, but someone like Nate Robinson, he's small, but he had hustle.
Yeah, I
you
heard
get
that
it.
still. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You see that? See, I know
I
what basketball stuff now, you know, NBA 2K and that. So yeah, I thought to mention that because something that I think anybody that listens to the platform, and Rash will probably attest to this as well. If you're not ready to work hard, then don't start this. Yeah. For me, that's been one of the most beautiful things about doing this, and most, I don't want to say eye-opening, but yeah, one of the most eye-opening things about having all these conversations, because I feel like this is probably the main thing that ties in all the conversations together. The fact that everybody we've spoken to has just grinded, man. Like, no one's been given stuff on a silver platter. Everybody's had to do certain things and be really resourceful. And going back to the point I made about in the beginning about like aligning it with certain episodes, I want to highlight Romeo's episode, True V episode. And I'm wearing the True V hat. Yeah. Big up my guy Romeo.
No, I can't lie. He's a good example. Though. I can't lie.
It's a good example, isn't it? Yeah. Because, bro, Romeo was telling us how when he first started the brand, he was in uni and he was driving around. I can't remember what car he said he had, but he was driving around in uni just selling shit out the trunk. You get it? Selling stuff out the trunk. Because, bruv, that's how a lot of people start. You get it? Most people aren't able to start by getting funding from someone and having a showroom and being able to get into stockists. It don't really start like that, especially in the streetwear space. You know what I mean? You have to start in a way where it's like you're a hustler. Do you know what I'm saying? What do they call it? Hand to hand. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's really how it has to be.
You put it in, you'll get it back, man.
You get it, bro. You feel me? So, yeah, man, just it sounds like a simple point, but I think it's an important one to highlight, because if you don't have that hustle, then you will struggle.
Because even with Romeo, like, he's done like the parties and stuff, and then also running his brand at the same time, he does like the tailoring as well. So like he has different avenues to his whole brand, and like, yeah, it's just non-stop. Like, he juggles a lot of things together. So I think he's a perfect example. To do all of those things that Rash mentioned, you need to have the hustle. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think Rash's point about the events that he was doing as well, I like that, because that's another outlet for his hustle. Do you know what I'm saying? He's bringing people together so that he can do the direct to consumer thing. Do you know what I mean? Which is so important in the early days when you're first starting a brand. You have an experience and you sell the product at that experience. Like, when I went to his most recent pop-up, I bought a t-shirt and he gave me this hat, like, and it wasn't like the event was to sell stuff, because he had performances, he had a runway for his new stuff, and then people could just buy. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think it ties into his story very well, because that's how he started. He didn't start necessarily with a website. He started off by selling to the people around him, hustling in that sense, and then now he's continued that. So when he has his events and he's selling things there, people get it. Do you know what I'm saying? That's Romeo. So big up Romeo and big up True V, and always hustle. Thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.